all. Now get out of here, George.
But if that's how he
No,
feels...
Mother. Nothing more until Christ comes. About the case of O'Leary as long as I'm here. Now, that's all. Now get out of here, George.
You tell me. I want to hear you tell me.
Go, George. Don't take it that way, George. Please don't take it that way.
What do you mean you packed her bag? How dare you pack her bag?
Chris.
How dare you pack her bag?
She doesn't belong here.
Then I don't belong here.
She's Larry's girl.
And I'm his brother. And he's dead, and I'm marrying his girl.
Never in this world.
Have you lost your mind?
You have nothing to say.
I got plenty to say. 3 years and you've been talking like
You have nothing to say. Now I say he's coming back, and we've all got to wait.
Mother.
Wait.
How long?
Forever and ever until he comes.
Mother, I'm going ahead with it.
Chris, I have never said no to you in my life before. Now I say no.
You'll never let him go until I do.
I'll never let him go, and you'll never let him go.
I let him go. I let him go a long time
And
ago.
let your father go.
She's out of her mind.
Altogether. My dear, your brother is alive because if he's dead, then your father killed him. Do you understand me now? Somewhere in this world that boy is alive because God does not let a son be killed by his father. Now you see, don't you? Now you see.
She's out of her mind.
Then you did it.
He never flew a P-40.
But the others.
She's out of her mind.
Dad, you did it?
What's the matter with you?
But then you did it to the others.
What's the matter with you? What the hell is the matter with you?
How could you do that? How?
What's the matter with you?
Dad, you killed 21 men.
What, killed?
You killed them. You murdered them.
How can I kill anybody?
Dad!
I didn't kill anybody.
Then what did you do? Explain to me. What did you do? Explain to me. I'll tear you to pieces.
Chris, don't.
You had 121 cracked engine heads. I want to know what you did.
If you're gonna hang me, then...
I'm listening. God Almighty, I'm listening.
You're a boy. What else could I do? I'm in business. A man is in business. 120 cracked and you're out of business. You got a process. The process don't work, then you're out of business. You don't know how to operate, your stuff is no good, and then you're out of business. You can lay 40 years into a business, and then they'll knock you out in 5 minutes. They'll come in there and rip up your contract. What's the hell to them? What could I do? Let them take 40 years? Let them take my life away? I never thought they'd install them. I thought that they'd stop it before anybody ever took off.
Then why'd you ship them out?
By the time that they could spot the cracks, I thought that I could show them that they needed me again, and that I could have the process going again. But I got no kickback. So I was going to tell them.
And why didn't you tell them?
It was too late. It was all on the front page. 21 went down. It was too late. Of course, they came into the shop with handcuffs. What else could I do? Chris, I'm 61 years old. When would I get another chance to make something for you? 61 years and you don't get another chance, do you?
You even knew they wouldn't hold up in the air.
I didn't say that.
But you were going to warn them not to use them.
But that don't mean...
It means you knew they'd crash.
It doesn't mean that.
Then you thought they'd crash.
I was afraid maybe that...
You were afraid maybe? God in heaven, what kind of man are you? Kids were hanging in the air by those heads. You knew that.
For you, a business for you.
For me. Where do you live? Where have you come from? For me. I was dying every day, and you were killing my boys, and you did it for me. What the hell do you think I was thinking of? The goddamn business? Is that as far as your mind can see? The business! What is that, the world? The business? What the hell do you mean you did it for me? Don't you have a country? Don't you live in the world? What are you? You're not even an animal. No animal kills its own. What are you? What must I do to you? I ought to tear the tongue out of your mouth. can't stay up all night, dear. Why don't you go to bed?
I'm waiting for Chris. Don't worry about me, Jim. I'm perfectly alright.
But it's almost 2 o'clock.
I can't sleep. You had an emergency?
Somebody had a headache and thought he was dying. Half of my patients are quite mad. You know, you never realize how many people are walking around loose. They're cracked as coconuts. Money, money, money. Say the word long enough, doesn't mean a thing.
So childish, Jim. Sometimes you are.
Kate, what happened?
I told you. Chris and Joe got into an argument and Chris drove away.
What kind of argument?
An argument. Joe once a crying like a child before.
Did they argue about Anne?
No, not Anne. Imagine, since he's left, she's been in that room. All night in that room.
What did Joe do? Tell him?
Tell him what?
I know. I've known for a while now.
How?
It occurred to me a long time ago.
I always had the thought that somewhere in the back of his head, Chris almost knew. I didn't think it'd be such a shock.
Chris would never know how to live with a thing like that. It takes a certain talent for lying. You have it. And I do, but not him.
What do you mean? He's not coming back?
Oh no, he'll come back. We all come back, Kate. These private little revolutions always die. A compromise is always made. In a peculiar way. You know, Frank is right. Every man does have a star. The star of one's honesty. You can spend your life broken for it, but once it's out, it never lights again. I don't think he went very far. I just think maybe he wanted to be alone to watch his star go out.
Just as long as he comes back.
I wish he wouldn't, Kate. One year I simply took off. I went to New Orleans. For 2 months, I lived on bananas and milk, and I studied a certain disease. Oh, it was beautiful. And then she came, and she cried, and I went back home with her. Back to the usual darkness. I can't find myself. It's hard sometimes to remember the kind of man I wanted to be. I'm a good husband. Chris is a good son. He'll come back. I have a feeling he's at the park. I'll look around for him. Put her to bed, Joe. It's no good for what she's got.
What does he want here?
His friend is not home.
I don't like him mixing in so much.
It's too late, Joe. He knows.
How does he know?
He guessed a long time ago.
I don't like that.
What, you don't like?
Yeah, but I don't like.
You can't pull yourself through this one, Joe. Be smart.
And what is she doing up there? She don't come out the room.
I don't know. What is she doing? Sit down. Stop being mad. You want to live? You better figure out your life.
She don't know, do she?
She saw Chris storming out of here. It's 1 and 1. She knows how to add.
Maybe I ought to talk to her.
Don't ask me, Joe.
Then who do I ask? I don't think she'll do anything about it.
You're asking me again.
Yes, I'm asking you. What am I, a stranger? What happened to my family? I thought I had a family here.
You've got a family. I'm simply telling you that I have no strength to think anymore.
You have no strength. The minute there's trouble, you have no
Joe,
strength.
you're doing the same thing again all your life. Whenever there's trouble, you yell at me and you think that fixes it.
Then what do I do? Talk to me. Tell me. What do I do?
I've been thinking this way. If he comes back...
What do you mean, if? He's coming back.
I think if you sit him down and you explain yourself. I mean, you ought to make it clear to him that you know you did a terrible thing, you see?
What ice does that cut?
I mean, if you told him you're willing to pay for what you did.
How can I pay?
Tell him you're willing to go to prison.
I'm willing?
You wouldn't actually go. He wouldn't make you go. But if you told him you wanted to, if he could feel that you wanted to pay, maybe he would forgive you.
Forgive me.
Joe.
For what?
Joe, you know what I mean.
I don't know what you mean. You wanted money, so I made money. You wanted money, didn't you?
I didn't want it that way.
Well, I didn't want it that way either. What does it matter what you wanted? I spoiled the both of you. I should have put him out when he was 10 like I was put out and make him earn a buck in the real world. See, I could live off a quarter a day by myself, but I got a family.
Joe, don't excuse it that you did that for the family.
It's got to excuse
There's
it.
something bigger than the family to him.
There's nothing bigger.
There is to him.
There is nothing he could do that I wouldn't forgive because he's my son. Because I'm his father and he's my son.
Joe, I tell you, there's something
There's
bigger.
nothing bigger than that. And you're going to tell him. I'm his father and he's my son. And if there's something bigger than that, then I'll put a bullet in my head.
You stop that.
You heard me. Now you know you've got to tell him. But he wouldn't do that, though. He wouldn't put me away, would he?
Joe, he loved you. You broke his heart.
But to put me away.
I don't know. I'm beginning to think we don't really know him. They say in the war he was such a killer. Here he was always afraid of mice. I don't know him. I don't know what he'll do.
Goddamn. If Larry was alive, he wouldn't act like this. He understood the way the world was made. To him, the world had a 40-foot front and it ended at the building line. He listened to me. This one, everything bothers him. You make a deal and overcharge 2 cents, his hair falls out. He don't understand money. It came too easy. Yes, sir, Larry. That was the boy we lost, Larry. Larry. What am I gonna do, kid?
Joe, please. Nothing bad is going to happen.
For both of you, Kate. That's all I ever lived for.
I know, darling. I know.
Why do you stay up? I'll tell you when he comes.
You didn't eat supper, did you? Why don't you make something for her?
Sure.
Never mind, Kate. I'm alright. There's something I want to tell you. I'm not going to do anything about it.
She's a good girl. You see,
I'll do nothing about Joe. But you're going to do something for me. You made Chris feel guilty with me. Whether you wanted to or not, you've crippled him in front of me. Now, I'd like you to tell him that Larry is dead and that you know it. Do you understand me? I'm not going out of here alone again. There's no life for me that way. I want you to set him free. And I promise you, everything will end and will go away, and that's all.
You'll do that. You'll tell him.
I know what I'm asking, Kate. You had 2 sons, but you've only got 1 now.
You'll tell him.
And you've got to say it to Chris so he knows you mean it.
my dear, if the boy was dead, it wouldn't depend on my words to make Chris know it. The night he gets into your bed, his heart will dry up. Because he knows and you know. No, my dear. No such thing. You're going in the morning and you're going alone. That's your life. That's your lonely, pathetic life. Larry is dead. Don't speak to me. I said he's dead. I know. He crashed off the coast of China November 25th. His engine didn't fail him, That's enough for me. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Joe, go in the house.
Why?
Please go.
Let me know when he comes.
What's that?
Sit down. First, you've got to understand. When I came, I didn't have any idea that Joe... I had nothing against him or you. I came to get married. I hope... So, I didn't bring this to hurt you. I thought I'd show it to you only if there was no other way to settle Larry in your mind.
Larry?
He wrote to me just before he... I'm not trying to hurt you, Kate. You're making me do this. Now remember, I've been so lonely, Kate. I can't leave here alone again. You're making me show it to you. You wouldn't believe me, Kate. I told you 100 times. Why couldn't you just believe me?
Oh my God.
Kate, please. Please.
God, my God.
Kate, dear. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
What's the matter?
Where were you? You're all perspired. Where were you?
Just drove around a little. I thought you'd be gone.
Where do I go? I have nowhere to go.
Where's Dad?
He's inside lying down.
Just sit down, the both of you, and I'll say what there is to say.
I didn't hear
I
the
left
call.
you in the garage.
Jim is out looking
Mother.
for you.
I'm going away. There are a couple of firms in Cleveland, and I think I could get a place. I mean, I'm going away for good. It's true. I know what you're thinking, Annie. It's true, I'm yellow. I was made yellow in this house because I suspected my father, and I did nothing about it. But if I knew that night, when I came home, what I know now, he'd be in the district attorney's office by this time, and I'd have brought him there. Now if I look at him, all I'm able to do is cry.
What else can you do?
I could jail him! I could jail him if I were human anymore. But I'm like everybody else now. I'm practical now. You made me practical.
But you have to be.
The cats in that alley are practical. The bums who ran away when we were fighting were practical. Only the dead ones weren't practical. But now I'm practical. And I spit on myself. I'm going away. I'm going now.
I'm coming with you.
No. And
Chris, I don't ask you to do anything about Joe.
you do. You do.
I swear I never will.
In your heart, you always will.
Then do what you have to do.
Do what? What is there to do? I've looked all night for a reason to make him suffer.
There's reason. There is reason.
What? Do I raise the dead when I put him behind bars? Then what'll I do it for? We used to shoot a man who acted like a dog, but honor was real there. You were protecting something. But here, this is the land of the great big dogs. You don't love a man here, you eat him. That's the principle. The only one we live by. It just happened to kill a few people this time, that's all. The world's that way. How can I take it out on him? What sense does that make? This is a zoo! A zoo!
You know what he's got to do. Tell him.
Let him go.
I won't let him go. You'll tell him what he's got to do. Then I will.
What's the matter with you? I want to talk to you.
Got nothing to say.
I said I want to talk to you.
Don't do that, Dad! I'll hurt you if you do that! There's nothing to say! So say it quick.
Exactly what's the matter? What's the matter? You got too much money, is that what bothers you?
Bothers me.
If you can't get used to it, then throw it all away. You hear me? Take every cent and give it to charity. Throw it in the sewer. Does that settle it? In the sewer. You wanted to know, and now I'm telling you. If it's dirty, then burn it. Well, talk to me. What do you want to do?
It's not what I want to do, it's what you want to do.
What should I want to do? Jail? You want me to go to jail? Say so. If you think I belong there, then say so. You tell me everything else. Say this. What's the matter? Why can't you say it? You say everything else to me. Say this. I'll tell you why. Because you know I don't belong there. Because you know. Who worked for nothing during that war? When they work for nothing, I'll work for nothing. Did they ship a gun or a truck out of Detroit before they got their profit? Is that clean? It's dollars and cents, nickels and dimes. War and pieces, nickels and dimes. What's clean? Half the goddamn country's gotta go if I gotta go. That's why you can't tell me.
That's exactly why.
Then why am I bad?
I know you're no worse than most men, but I thought you were better. I never saw you as a man. I saw you as my father. I can't look at you this way. I can't even look at myself.
Give me that.
He's going to read it. Larry, he wrote it to me the day he died.
Joe.
Larry?
Joe, it's not for you. Chris, please don't tell him.
Why does he say Larry? What is on that?
3.5 years. Talking. Now you tell me what you must do. This is how he died. Now tell me where you belong.
Chris, a man can't be Jesus in this world.
Oh, I know all about the world. I know the whole crap story. Now listen to this and tell me what a man's got to be. My dear Anne, you listening? He wrote this the day he died. Don't cry. Listen. My dear Anne, it is impossible to put down the things I feel, but I've got to tell you something. Yesterday, they flew in a load of paper from the States, and I read about Dad and your father being convicted. I can't express myself. I can't tell you how I feel. I can't bear to live anymore. Last night, I circled around the base for 20 minutes before I could bring myself in. How could he have done that? How? Every day, 3 or 4 men never come back, and he sits back there doing business. I don't know how to tell you what I feel. I can't face anybody. I'm going out on a mission in a few minutes. They'll probably report me missing. If they do, I want you to know that you mustn't wait for me. I tell you, Anne, if I had him here now, I could kill him! Now blame the world! Do you understand that letter?
I think I do. Get the car. I'll be down in a minute.
Why are you going? You'll sleep. Why are you going?
I can't sleep here. I'll feel better if I go.
So foolish. Larry was your son too, wasn't he? You know he never asked you to do this.
Then what is this if it isn't asking me to? Sure, Larry was my son. But I think to him they were all my sons. And I guess they would. I'll get my jacket.
You're not going to take him.
I'm taking him.
It's up to you. If you tell him to stay, he'll stay. Go and tell him.
Nobody can stop him now.
You can stop him. How long will he live in prison? Are you trying to kill my husband?
I thought you read
Didn't
this.
you hear? The war, the stupid freaking war is over.
Then what was Larry to you? A stone that fell into the water? It's not enough for him to be sorry. Larry didn't kill himself to make you and Dad sorry.
What more can we be, Chris?
You can be better. Once and for all, you can know that there's a universe of people out there And unless you know that, you threw away your son because that's why he died! Woo! Fight him!